Milk. It's white, it's delicious, but is it good for athletes? The short answer, yeah. What's up, nutrition nerds, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about milk. Humble milk. It's cheap, it's easily available, and it's actually packed full of nutrients. So today I wanted to talk about how and why it might be useful for athletes. What do you think of my glass, by the way? Cool flamingos, hey? So why might milk be useful for athletes? Milk is full of the big three: carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Although depending on what variant you go for, you might have more or less of any of them. But it's also got some calcium in it, some sodium, and some vitamin B12. That's a pretty ace combo, and actually puts milk in quite a unique spot as a natural product. So first of all, let's talk about milk and recovery from exercise, because that's the area of sports nutrition that has the most research. In terms of recovery from endurance exercise, so we're talking running, swimming, cycling, milk's combination of nutrients makes it a pretty good go-to. The carbohydrates in milk help replenish your muscle glycogen stores, which is your body's carb store in the muscles, and helps you to refuel for future training. The protein in it helps to promote repair and regeneration of your muscle tissue, which we'll talk more about later. And the sodium in milk helps with rehydration after a workout, which is pretty cool. If you want to know about how sodium affects hydration, then have a watch of the video that I've linked at the top of the screen, because I go into more detail about it there. A meta-analysis, which is basically a review and combining of data to look at an overall effect, investigated chocolate milk as a recovery drink after exercise, and found that it was equally as good as recovery drinks available on the market and better than a placebo. They did say that they wanted more high-quality research in the future, which is a pretty common recommendation, by the way. But I think that the results so far and the nutrient profile of milk make it a pretty good recovery drink from endurance exercise. Oh, and also they looked at chocolate milk because the chocolate added an extra carbohydrate component, so there was a better overall mix of carbohydrate and protein. And added chocolate to this? Well, okay. You don't have to convince me. Now, the other part of exercise recovery which milk could be good for is after resistance training. So we're talking things like weights, strength and conditioning, gym work. In order for muscles to repair, so to grow bigger, stronger, more capable, we've got to give them the nutrients to be able to do this. We want something called muscle protein synthesis to occur. Protein and the amino acids which make up the proteins are the backbone of this. And milk certainly has plenty of them. Cow's milk contains whey protein, and we know that whey protein is great at stimulating muscle growth, as it's been shown many times over in lots of different studies. And milk as a vessel for that whey protein seems to work equally as well. So milk after resistance training seems to be a good option because it contains enough protein to stimulate muscle growth. And we know it's not bad for recovery from endurance exercise as well. So whether it's from recovery from a hard bike or run, or you're looking for them gains, seems like a pretty good choice. In terms of milk as a during exercise supplement for longer endurance training, personally, I wouldn't really recommend it. There are other better options which are focused just on carbohydrates, which is what you need. And if you want a bit more info on that, I've linked a video at the top of the screen where I talk about this in more detail. So another possible use for milk would be if you're struggling as an athlete with calories in a day. If you train a lot, and especially a lot of endurance training, then you can go through a lot of calories and you need to keep yourself topped up. And if that's the case, milk might be a great option for you. You could make a milkshake or a smoothie or just drink it on its own, and it's a cheap, easy and convenient way of just getting extra calories in. So this little glass of deliciousness is actually a great tool for a lot of athletes. Let's quickly run through the practical advice so you've got some pointers if you're going to drink it. The studies that investigated milk commonly used a 500 milliliter serving of it. And I would say that's a good amount so that you get enough calories and enough carbohydrate and protein from it. As although fat is great for us in the right amounts, it's not really our aim here. Chocolate milk is likely better than non-chocolate milk if your goal is recovery from an intense or prolonged workout, which helps to replace your body's carbohydrate stores so you can go again for the next session. And in terms of the when, you can pour yourself a delicious glass straight after exercise. So is milk the one for you? If currently you don't have anything specific after your workouts, or you don't have anything at all and you've been trying to come up with something, milk might be a great addition to your nutrition plan. It doesn't have to be after every session, but after resistance training or exhaustive efforts, if you don't really use anything, then it could be super useful for you. Now there are of course supplements that you could use after training, and some of them might be a bit better because they're a bit more targeted, but supplements aren't always right and they're not for everyone. I have done a video on supplement advice which I've linked at the top of the screen, and you can watch that if you're interested. But milk is an easily available, cheap option for athletes, which I think is probably an underused tool. And that brings us to the end of today's milk adventures. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it useful. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it and whether you already drink it after your workout or might in the future instead. If you haven't already, give the video a like and press subscribe to stay up to date with everything that I release. Make sure you press the notification icon too. And I'll catch you next time. See ya.